One look. That's all it took for a stranger to decide who I was and in that same moment decide how little respect I deserved. I didn't know his name, then didn't know he'd become the reason an entire airline rewrote its rules. I just knew the feeling in my chest when he looked past my face and straight through me like I was furniture. Someone forgot to move out of the way. It was early morning at Hudson International, the kind of hour where everyone's tired but pretending not to be. The terminal smelled like burnt coffee and impatience. Up front, though, where Monarch Air ran its Summit Class check-in, everything was softer. Thick carpet, muted lighting, ropes the color of red wine. Staff dressed like walking press releases. I had just landed from a brutal overseas trip meeting stacked on meetings, 3 days of negotiations that ended with handshakes and signatures no one would read about until months later. All I wanted was to get home to Seattle, sleep in my own bed, and forget airports existed for a while. I stepped into the Summit Class line quietly. No phone in my hand, no sunglasses. Just a long coat, an old leather bag I'd had forever hair pulled back because vanity takes energy, and I was out of it. I waited my turn, slid my passport forward, and said, "Morning. Checking in for Flight 614." The man behind the counter didn't look up. He tapped at his screen side and said, "Economy check-in is down the hall. Follow the green signs." I smiled, polite, tired. I'm not flying economy. Seat 2A. That finally got his attention. He looked up slowly, eyes scanning me like he was solving a puzzle and didn't like the picture forming. Then he chuckled. Not a friendly laugh, the kind you use when you think someone's delusional. "Ma'am, Summit Class starts at $11,000 one way. Please don't hold up the line." I felt that familiar burn, the one I've learned not to react to too fast. "Just scan the pass," I said, placing my boarding slip on the counter. He picked it up with 2 fingers, glanced at my name, and shook his head. These systems glitch all the time. People print fake passes, try their luck. Federal offense, by the way. I looked him straight in the eye. "Are you calling me a criminal?" He leaned back, lips tight. "I'm saying Summit Class has a certain standard, and you don't match it." Behind me, someone huffed loudly. A woman stepped closer. Expensive perfume announcing her before she spoke. She was wrapped in a designer coat, jewelry flashing under the lights, 2 assistants juggling massive suitcases behind her. "Is there a problem?" she asked already, annoyed. "Some of us are on a schedule." The man's posture changed instantly. Smile on, voice sweet. "Apologies, Ms. Carlton. Just resolving an issue." The woman looked me up and down like she was inspecting a stain. "Well, hurry it up. Some people don't know where they belong." That's when he decided to perform. He tore my boarding pass clean in half. Then again, dropped the pieces into the trash. There. Problem solved. Economy lines that way, or I call airport security. Something in me went quiet. Not angry, not scared, just clear. I picked up my passport, nodded once, and walked away. Past the velvet ropes, past the woman smirking behind me, toward the chaos of the general check-in area where crying kids, overpacked backpacks, and fluorescent lights reminded you exactly where you stood in the world. As I walked, I pulled out my phone and typed a message I hadn't expected to send in public. "Connect me to legal, priority channel." Then another. "Initiate asset transfer confirmation." I wasn't buying a ticket. I already had one. I was buying leverage. The economy agent who reprinted my boarding pass was young, exhausted kind in that quiet way people get when they've been stepped on all day. "He's intense," she whispered, handing me a middle seat near the back. "I'm sorry." "Don't be," I said. "You did your job." By the time I boarded, he was at the gate again laughing with a pilot. Loud enough for people to hear. "Kept some trash out of Summit today," he said. "Fake pass. You'd be amazed what people try." I scanned my new ticket. The machine beeped green. He grinned. Back of the plane, careful not to break anything. I walked on. Past the wide seats up front, past the curtain. Saw the woman from the line already settled into my original seat, champagne in hand, shoes off like she owned the sky. She caught my eye and laughed. "Guess miracles do happen," she said to no one in particular. Row 38. Middle seat. Bathroom line already forming. I sat, knees pressed in bag on the floor, closed my eyes. Then my phone buzzed. Ownership transfer confirmed. Effective immediately. The plane pushed back. Engines hummed. Taxiing began. I waited until we were lined up for takeoff. Then I pressed the call button. Once. Twice. Finally, a flight attendant snapped, "You need to stay seated." "I need to speak to the captain," I said calmly. "Regarding ownership authorization of this aircraft." She laughed. "Sit down." "I'm serious," I said. "If he takes off, he'll be flying without consent." That got attention. The plane stopped. Dead. The intercom crackled. Confusion rippled through the cabin. An air marshal approached hand near his belt. I showed him my screen. Digital certificates, signatures, timestamps. The captain came out of the cockpit furious. Threats flew. Jail. Federal charges. I waited until he ran out of breath. Then I said quietly, "You're flying my plane." Silence. The marshal checked, nodded. The captain went pale. We turned back. At the gate, the man from the counter was waiting with police, smiling like a kid who thought Christmas came early. "That's her," he said. "Fraud. Disorderly conduct." My lawyer arrived before the cuffs did. Documents in hand. Names changed fast. The smile vanished. The woman in summit class suddenly didn't know him. Evidence poured out. Logs, transactions, seats resold, money skimmed. He left in handcuffs screaming about respect. I walked back onto the plane, looked at the woman in my seat. "You're done here," I said. She protested. Threatened lawsuits. I counted numbers, her ticket versus my purchase. She stormed off to cheers from the back. I stood at the front of the cabin, apologized for the delay, refunded every ticket, opened the bar. The mood shifted. Relief. Laughter. Something close to justice. We took off again, smooth this time. Later, as we descended, I thought about how easy it is to confuse quiet with powerless. How many times people decide who you are based on a coat, a bag, a tone of voice. That man thought he was protecting an image. He never thought to check who actually owned it. So here's what I want to know. If you were in that line watching it happen, what would you have done? Would you speak up? Look away, side with power because it feels safer. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Argue. Disagree. Share your own story. Because moments like that aren't rare. They're just usually quieter, and the only way they change is if people stop pretending they don't see them.